let's look at how one of these reels works. As Jerry brings in a big fish, and I'll net it. Oh, I'm awful good, especially when I got to catch them on the jump. That's a nice big bass.
All right, we'll drop him in the live well.
Now,
Take a picture later.
Jerry, I'm going to come up there with you because I want to ask you a couple things here.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, now I want to show you what's really the talk of the industry. This is USReel's new baitcaster, and this is different than anything you've ever seen in your life. And different is all fine. It's nice to be different. But if that different makes it better, makes fishermen enjoy using it more, makes it a better tool for them, then the difference really becomes important. And this baitcaster doesn't have any line guide for the line to go through. You can see this is all open here. And what that means is when the line comes off this spool, it literally flies off here. There's no friction. And guys that use baitcasters are so blown away by this because it's casting up to 50% farther for a lot of people than anything they've ever used before. And it just stands to reason. There's nothing to collect and slow down that line. And, you know, recently when the guys I've shown these reels to have been fishing them in the really cold weather, there's been an incredible difference also because there's nothing to collect the ice. So it makes these reels far more adaptable to all kinds of conditions.
The distance to the cast. I've been zinging these jigs out there today.
I know.
I mean, I've been getting some serious distance. I mean, covering some water, and that's the key. I mean, we're trying to cover the bottom of the river here and get that jig in front of as many fish as possible. And if I can't get a long cast, especially when they're a little spooky, like, you know, the other day when we were out, the sun came out and they were really spooky.
Yeah.
And we had to stay way off them. This is a perfect tool for that. Get the distance, every cast, make it count, get as much bottom contact as possible for as long as possible, keep it in the strike zone as long as possible. You're going to catch more fish.
And you know, folks, the reason this is all happening again is this isn't a level wind reel. This is a revolution in fishing. This is a whole different kind of reel that's ever been out there. This spool actually goes backwards. It spins backwards when you cast. There's no friction. There's nothing. There's nothing to stop that line going out, and there's nothing to funnel it out and slow it down. And in the same respects, this bar that comes across goes up and down and up and down, and as it goes against the line, it actually winds it on just absolutely the most perfect level wind that you've ever seen. So you combine that with a reel that casts so far. The people at USReel had to come up with a different gear system than is in other reels, and nobody that makes reels and makes gears for other manufacturers could do the type of gears that they wanted, because they didn't want just any gears. They wanted the strongest, toughest, smoothest gears that have ever put into a fishing reel. And they had to go to the people that develop and engineer the gearing for the space program. So these gears are made right here, and they're made so well that it makes this reel one of the strongest, toughest reels that fishermen could ever find anyplace. It makes them great for salt water. They're all the rage now for red fishermen. And it's just as smooth as silk. Super high retrieve ratio, beautifully crafted, fits in your hands so nice. I mean, again, here's the thing. This isn't about technical stuff. What really matters here is that you have a tool that's going to help you catch more fish and enjoy the experience so much more, because you can use your skills to the ultimate. You want to cast to a certain spot, it helps you to be able to do that. If you want to fish super clear water like we were fishing, it allows you to cast out to a range where those fish can't see you, and you're going to get twice as many strikes. And I mean, I could go on and on, but what really is amazing me is these serious bass fishermen that I've been fishing with, these guys that win tournaments all over this part of our country, have been blown away by these reels and can't wait to have them available to the public. I mean, this is really amazing. And you know, when you go on USReel's website and you see all these pro fishermen that are endorsing this reel, that are part of this team, these guys are part of this team because they called USReel. They'd seen and heard about this, and they want to be in on the most exciting and the best product on the market. Naturally, they want to lend their names to something like that. So this is an exciting phenomenon that's taking place in the fishing industry, and I hope that by showing you this, I'm giving you the inside look at something that you're really going to want. Now I'll tell you, Jerry, that's an awful big bass, and I was just talking to Larry about these reels, but what can you explain now that you've been using this? Like he said, he was amazed how this would spool so evenly, right. But what there is this goes up and down as it sways back and forth.
And it lays that line on there beautifully. I wouldn't have expected that either. Using this thing, casting a jig, I need a good feel. I need it to lay in my hand. Be small, be able to cup it like this, and have good sensitivity, even through the. I need to have good sensitivity even through the body of the reel.
Right.
And it's got it. I mean, obviously, there you go. There's another slob. That one's closing on 4.
This is the first day you've used this reel, and from the very minute he picked it up, his first cast was like, wow, this thing casts a mile.
I cast it in the field back there before we even launched, just to dial it in, and it was almost spot on. I couldn't believe it. Really. I mean, I'm a skeptic, and I'm going to have a couple of these in my tackle pack here pretty soon.
Well, the neat thing is, and when you're flipping, like Will had done earlier this year when these first came out, he couldn't believe it, just effortlessly.
So
yeah,
I mean,
it's effort because there's no friction.
It is easy. It's just whoop, there it is, boom.